Welcome back to This Week in Tyranny. While you were watching Iran this week, here's what they did when they thought you weren't looking. Republicans are rolling back child labor laws so your kids can work in meatpacking plants. The government is about to authorize the extinction of one of the rarest animals on Earth for oil money. Congress is permanently erasing public land protections that took decades to build. The FBI admitted it's buying your location data. The Pentagon wants $200 billion more dollars, and the White House said hurting you is the last of their concerns. And the president celebrated the death of a war hero. None of this made the front page. All of it matters. Let's get into it. Let's start with the one that should make you question what century we're living in. Republicans across the country are gutting child labor laws. 28 states have introduced bills to weaken protection for kids in the workplace. 12 have already passed them. In Iowa, 14-year-olds can now work in industrialized freezers and on assembly lines. In Arkansas, employers don't even have to verify a child's age before hiring them. Sarah Huckabee Sanders called that requirement, quote, burdensome and obsolete. Burdensome. Checking if your employee has gone through puberty is burdensome. A 16-year-old boy died in a sawmill in Wisconsin after getting caught in a machine. A teenager in Pennsylvania was killed by a wood chipper. Child labor violations have increased 88% since 2019. And Project 2025, the playbook this administration is clearly running, explicitly called for letting minors work in hazardous conditions because, and I'm paraphrasing only slightly, some kids seem interested in dangerous jobs. Oh, well, if they're interested, must be fine then. These are the same people who say they need to protect children from library books and drag queens. But a 14-year-old on an assembly line at midnight? Psh, that's opportunity. They don't want to protect kids. They want cheap labor that doesn't talk back. Next, while oil prices spike from a war the administration started, they're using those prices as cover to do something truly unhinged. The Trump administration just convened the Endangered Species Committee for the first time in over 30 years. It's called the God Squad because it has the literal power to authorize the extinction of a species. The target is the rhesus whale, one of the rarest animals on the planet. There are an estimated 51 left alive. The best estimate for mature breeding adults is 16. 16 on the entire Earth. The Deepwater Horizon spill in 2010 already wiped out 22% of the population. And now the administration wants to let big oil drill right through their habitat in the Gulf of Mexico because gas is expensive because of a war they started. They created the crisis, and now they're using the crisis to justify killing the last of a species. And instead of the legally required public hearing with a judge and witnesses, they're offering a webinar. A webinar for extinction. You get better customer service from your cable company. And here's the one that got almost no attention, thanks to More Than Just Parks for flagging it. Congress has been using something called the Congressional Review Act to permanently erase public land protections. Not temporarily, permanently. When Congress kills a rule under the CRA, no future administration can ever restore anything substantially similar without passing an entirely new law. They've already nullified 22 rules. They've erased protections across hundreds of millions of acres in Alaska, Montana, Wyoming, and North Dakota. The Boundary Waters, one of the most pristine wilderness areas in the country, is next. They did all of this with a simple majority vote. No filibuster, no environmental review, no public comment period. Protections that took decades to build through scientific research, tribal consultation, and public input were wiped out in days. 84% of Western voters say rolling back public land protections is a serious problem. Congress doesn't care, and nobody's covering it because Iran is on every screen. Speaking of things that should terrify you, FBI Director Kash Patel was asked under oath at the Senate Intelligence Committee hearing this week whether the FBI is buying America's location data from private companies. He said yes. He confirmed it. If the FBI wants your location data from your phone company, they need a warrant. A judge has to approve it. But apparently, if they just buy it from a data broker instead, that's fine. No warrant, no judge, no probable cause. Senator Ron Wyden called it an outrageous end run around the Fourth Amendment. And he's right. The government is buying your movements off the open market and using it as intelligence. In an administration that has already been caught with DOJ employees taking Social Security databases on thumb drives and making secret agreements to share voter data with political groups, they don't need a surveillance state when they can just buy one. And the Pentagon is asking Congress for $200 billion more dollars to fund the Iran war. $200 billion on top of the $900 billion they already have. And when White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett was asked on CNBC whether the war would hurt the economy, he said it would, quote, hurt consumers. And that's, quote, the last of our concerns right now. He said that on national television. Gas is at $3.91. It was $2.93 a month ago. The International Energy Agency is telling people to work from home and avoid air travel, and you are the last of their concerns. They can find $200 billion for bombs, but they can't fund your kid's school or keep your birth control covered. Those are the priorities. That's the math, and they just told you to your face. And finally, Robert Mueller died this week. He was 81. He was a Vietnam combat veteran who volunteered for service, was wounded in action, and earned a Bronze Star with valor for pulling a wounded soldier out of enemy fire. He led the FBI for 12 years, including through 9/11. He served presidents of both parties. And when the news broke, the President of the United States posted, quote, "Good, I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people." That's your president, a man who has never served anything but himself, who dodged the draft 5 times, who mocked a prisoner of war for being captured, who called fallen soldiers suckers and losers, who couldn't name a single sacrifice he's ever made when asked directly. And now he's celebrating the death of a man who bled for this country because that man had the audacity to investigate him. This isn't strength. This isn't toughness. This is a deeply broken man with the emotional depth of a parking meter who happens to have nuclear weapons. And that should scare the hell out of every single one of us.